Now, before we do a deep dive into case details, it is important to focus on 19th century American prerogatives, given the racial animosities targeting Chinese nationals and Americans of Chinese descent. For 20 years, U.S. enacted stepwise restrictions before outright banning all Chinese immigrants. But events actually originated with good nation-state relations between U.S. and Imperial China. The 1868 Burlingame Treaty regulated both professional and unskilled Chinese nationals as immigrants to the U.S. It was the first equal treaty signed by China with a Western power, the United States of America. Equal in that both nations treated each other as one-to-one relationship, not under duress of violence or threat of warfare, contrast to Western European colonial powers carving up China's territory with military conquest. But the treaty also stated Chinese nationals were expressly forbidden to become U.S. naturalized citizens. Now, this is less the fault of the U.S. and more recriminates China. When your own mother country treats you as a second-class citizen at home, it is only natural the guest country will treat you with equal disdain and second-class nature. For any Chinese national who legally complained about this blanket citizenship ban, U.S. simply replied, "You are a Chinese national under the Emperor of China control. Thus, your own mother country, at will, without duress, signed this treaty. Or, more bluntly, your own country sold you out. Go complain to them." Hence the old Chinese proverb, 母国不成器，华侨百姓只能忍受苦命. Loosely translated as, if parents don't care for their own children, then anybody can kick them around for fun. Back to our timeline. U.S. and China relations soon soured due to socio-economic competition. Racial tension was used merely as an excuse. Real conflict was jobs here in the U.S. between immigrants versus citizens. Starting 1875, U.S. began to constrain Chinese immigration. Then, in 1883, issue blanket ban on all future Chinese immigration to U.S. 1884. Attention shifted to Chinese nationals already in the U.S. They must secure federal re-entry certification if they ever left the U.S. for overseas travels, to prove that they legally resided in the U.S. beforehand. The final death knell, 1888 Scott Act, which forbid all Chinese national immigration, including prior legal resident Chinese, from returning to the U.S. And this is the crux of this Chae Chanping case, the 1884 and 1888 anti-Chinese exclusionary laws.